It's time for Q&A in the Kitchen. It's a podcast and YouTube series where tattoo artists and piercer talk about and discuss some of the more common questions we get asked by those that collect tattoos and piercings. Brought to you in part by Skin Kitchen Tattoo and the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. Well, we're kind of a little short today. We only have 3 people for the next 3, actually, because Brent's at jury duty.
Just tell him the truth. Tell him the truth. Prince.
Yeah, he's giving his civic, he's doing his civic duty.
No, he died of COVID.
Yeah, well. Shh.
He's still here.
Yeah, there's the alien probe and all that other stuff. Anyway, so today what we have is Jimmy St. John, all the way over there to my right and your left, tattoo artist at the Skin Kitchen. Next to me, Jack Lowe, owner, operator, and tattoo artist at Skin Kitchen Tattoo, and Lonely Me, DaVo, of the Axiom Body Piercing Studio. Now, the question we're going to ask today is, when you're going in for your first tattoo or piercing, what should you expect?
Yeah. Well, let's see. If you've got a design that's like ready to go, you have a picture of it or whatever. Depending on the studio, if they're appointment only or whatever, you might end up just making an appointment for a consult.
Yeah,
I guess that could be, one thing to expect. Maybe don't expect right away that you're just going to walk right into a shop and just get right in the chair. Some studios run like that. They're what we refer to as like a street shop. That's not supposed to be any kind of derogatory thing. It's just a street shop is considered that a walk-in shop that you can go in and they'll, generally have someone that day or even right away that can take care of you and get your artwork ready and get you tattooed. But if you're going to a custom-only shop or one that only works by appointment only, then generally you'll go in and you'll, like at our shop, you'll set up an appointment to come in for your consult. That way the artist has a time put aside that they can talk to you only, they'll pay attention and try to get every bit of information they can out of you to give you the design that you're after. And then after that, you will book the consult or the appointment for the tattoo. And again, so that artist has that time set aside for you, knowing exactly what you're going to do, is prepared and ready to go for it. But as far as what to expect, maybe application-wise, pain-wise, and all that.
Yeah.
It can be different for different people, and the placement, if you've got a big design that the artist may be only comfortable working in 3, 5, 10, 20 hours, spots, which 20 is a lot. But you might have multiple appointments. So, but during the tattoo, I guess it'll hurt. What do you think, Jimmy? Where do you...
Well, I think you brought up some good points. Like you said, if it's a custom-only studio, then you're going to come in and set a consult first so that you and the artist can sit down and get to know each other a little bit, and you can get some information from them. You can decide what design they're looking for, so, you can come up with something, that really hits the spot of what they're looking for. Mm-hmm. Once you come in for your tattoo, one of the best things to look for and expect to is get a good night's sleep before you come to the studio to get tattooed. Get a really good meal in you. I don't mean like a granola bar and a energy drink.
Right.
I mean like a full meal. You want to be full stomach. You want to be rested. Come in expecting to take a little time when you first get there to be stenciled and to be the setup for your tattoo to be going on. Some time for placement to be put on before you actually get down to start tattooing. And if you're doing a larger piece, like say you're doing a sleeve or a back piece, when you come in and the artist shows you what he's drawn up, because that's what he feels that he can do in the allotted time that you've set aside for the appointment. Sometimes some people come in and they're like, oh, well, we're doing a whole back piece. Yeah, we're going to do a whole back piece. And you've got like this much, half of it or whatever drawn up. And they're like, well, where's the rest of it? Well, we're not going to tattoo your whole back or your whole arm today in 4 hours that you've scheduled to tattoo. So I've laid out what we can get done in that amount of time, and that's kind of where we're going to go with it.
That's kind of artist by artist too.
Yeah.
The way I like to work with bigger pieces or sleeves, back, whatever it may be, legs. I like to I have it in my brain. So when they ask me like, well, where's the rest? It's in there. But I focus on a chunk at a time, and already have planned in my head, I guess, that what needs to come off of that or behind it, or if something's in front of it and all that stuff. Right. So, I mean, depending on the artist and, what you're comfortable with, maybe an artist that works that way isn't your cup of tea. Which is totally fine. That's the way the artist feels they work best. But if you don't work best that way, and you're not comfortable with it, well, then you could either talk to that artist about it, and then you can discuss why he's more comfortable working that way or she.
And the advantages between the two is, like, if you do the whole outline, then everything's planned out. You know exactly the way it's going to look, but you're going to be stuck with this outline. Yeah. And then one section's going to get done, then the next section, and everybody you show it to is going to say the same thing. When are you getting that finished? Well, Is that it? Is that all you're doing?
Right.
Or your method, which is you kind of complete one section to a degree, so that it's so you walk home with a new tattoo.
Yeah, it's a little, because some, and this isn't why I do it, but it is kind of a positive way of doing it is, sometimes life gets in the way, something changes, you lose your job, or, you have something that pulls you away from it, and it might be several years. It's happened to me where, I won't pick up on the piece because of something like that. And so that way you don't have this. Not only are you not walking around with this outline, but it's not going to have to be re-outlined or redone and spend more time kind of walking backwards to get it to where it needs to be to look cohesive with everything else. And that can happen even with a complete tattoo. But it also, if, like, say it is that long and I would have outlined that whole thing, well, it's been 3 years. Mm-hmm. I might have a different thought or a different technique, or learn something that could be even, to take that thing and make it even better. Or maybe for whatever reason, you're not really digging it because your brain's in a different spot. Whatever it might be, for me, I like to if I'm inspired and I can really focus on just a chunk of it and develop it really far in my head instead of looking at the overall thing. It just works way better for me, and I'm way happier with it. Plus, it's it's a little nicer walking around with a relatively finished looking tattoo, and walking around with it for
Also, when you come in and make an appointment with the artist after your consult, and let's say you're going to do a panther coming through the jungle, when you get there, the drawing is going to be ready for you at that time. Personally, I don't like sending drawings to people, line drawings especially, because no offense, a lot of people don't know what they're looking at. When they look in an empty coloring book, they have no idea what they're looking at but a bunch of lines. And they can't see the photo or the picture, and they're not seeing it.
And for us to develop it that far would take so much time that it's kind of in this planning stage. So when you show someone just an outline, they're going to be kind of, and if you're not there to talk to them and answer those questions,
it's lost.
And another thing I hate about sending artwork, which you might have been getting to, and I'm just going to cut it off because I won't, because I will, is you will show that design more than likely because you're excited. You'll show it to your friends or your family and go, "Oh, look, this is what my guy got me." Well, everybody thinks that they might have a better idea, or ooh, it'd be neat if you did this, or oh, it'd be neat if you did that, which is fine, but you're adding in a lot more chefs into that kitchen trying to say what ingredients are going to taste the best when that artist is the one that's going to be tattooing it. That artist is the professional at tattooing and put together that design to look the best it can. And maybe in your mind or your friend's mind, that would be cool, but at the end of the day, it might be detrimental to that design overall being a tattoo and what you're trying to, convey with it.
And one of the things we should address is if you're coming into the appointment and you're like, well, I guess how much of the design can be changed? Usually it means we can do it smaller, we can do it slightly larger, but we can't totally change everything and get you going. And you have to understand, if you set up a 3-hour appointment and it takes the artist an hour and a half to redraw it, they're not going to have time to finish.
It's eating into it. Yeah. And I'm kind of in the middle of that. Like, I won't agree to take an appointment for someone if I'm not comfortable. I'm not really comfortable in what they want, that I've got it figured out.
Yeah.
And that's what the consult's for. That gives me time to ask the questions I need to ask to get the design far enough to where I need to, so that when they come in, if there is little adjustments that need to be made, that's not a big deal.
Yeah.
But a complete redraw, I don't want the panther anymore. I want a turkey in a field now.
Yeah. Now we have to change the appointment and all that.
So
since 1999, when I've been tattooing, I can think of maybe 2 to 3 instances where someone came in and was like, I really don't like that, or they've changed their mind, or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
But like some things, people used to come in and like, some people have a hard time relinquishing control to the artist.
Yeah.
And we are a team. You have to have the idea. I have to create your idea. You have to sit still. I have to tattoo it. It's a team effort.
Mm-hmm.
But like if you want a mermaid sitting on a coral and you come in, you're like, oh, she's beautiful. She's more than everything I ever thought, and blah, blah, blah. I just don't know how you guys do that. That's awesome. Well, instead of her hand being right here, can you move her hand over here? I know it seems like just a little minute detail to you, but to change where her arm position is and her hand, just to move it on the other side, now the stuff that's going in front of her, the flow of the piece, like you've changed all those things.
And not only her balance, where her shoulders would be,
Right.
where her shoulder would be up because there's weight on her hand. Well, now there isn't, so she's moving her hand like this. She looks weird. So now you have to adjust and twist.
Right. You got to basically redraw the whole figure.
Yeah, it can really change things around.
Oh, well, I just wanted the hand moved. Well, that moves your whole body. Like, take your hand here and then move your hand here.
And don't
your
move
whole
anything
body
else.
Moves. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're going to look awkward.
Yeah.
And it's going to affect how it flows into the body.
Absolutely.
Looks on the body and how it moves with the body.
Because we're thinking of all those things when we're drawing this piece.
Yep. Yeah, and that's where sometimes, we'll draw quick thumbnails, or I'll take a picture of the body part and I'll, draw it out real quick to kind of show you where things are going to be. And that helps the client, too, have a better idea of what they're going to get when they come in.
Absolutely.
Especially if they don't have any references or anything like that, which I love it when people bring references. Like I tell people all the time, you can never have too much reference, so that really helps too. But it's something to think about, that you're taking this this idea baby, and you have to trust that this person, all they do is take care of babies. And if it seems a little awkward, or man, that's not really what I would have done to take care of the baby, well, then you'd be taking care of the baby and I wouldn't have a job.
Right.
I'm trained to take care of those babies and make them strong and awesome.
Right.
And if you have an idea like, oh, why did I was thinking maybe this and why that, and if there's not a real strong answer, just in my mind, I thought it worked really good with the layout and everything else. But if you don't like cherry blossoms or whatever it might be, then we could change it.
Right, exactly.
But if that was a big thing for you, if that had to be something specific for you to like it, well, then either I didn't ask enough questions during the consult, or you didn't say it.
Right.
So I assumed, hey, they didn't really say
a big deal.
what it was. So
like any relationship, it benefits from communication.
Absolutely.
Free communication. And I think a lot of times when people coming in to get their first tattoo, they're kind of intimidated. And it's like, try to find somebody you're relaxed and you can do it too.
Yeah.
We're not going to be judgmental. We might laugh about the fact you want every child's name that you've ever come in contact with on your back, but
that's your personal preference.
That's your personal preference.
Might not laugh, but explain to you that maybe in your head or whatever, that you do want that there, but in the context of the design you're wanting, all those names or all that stuff is really going to overpower and complicate the design. And maybe there's a better way we could do it, maybe with initials, or maybe representing those people with different items in the tattoo or something like that, or make those names a tattoo all into itself and use this idea as not the carrier for that.
Exactly.
So,
and I know we covered this in the past, the difference between street shops and custom shops way back when.
Yeah.
But what you need to understand is that the people that go into a studio and get tattooed within a half an hour of getting there, they're getting things like very simple names. They're getting stuff off the wall that's already pre-designed, where all the artist has to do is pull out the stencil, size it, put it on, and go. Yeah. There's nothing, even in those situations, at least it's been my experience, even back in the day, if I wanted something a little bit more custom, it turned into, well, let's sit down and talk about this. The other thing with consultations that I think a lot of people don't understand, because they just see some guy sitting there tattooing, and they think, oh, well, I can just go over and talk to him about this artist, this idea I have for this tattoo, and he's going to give me a quote, he's going to tell me all about what he's going to do, and he's going to remember that 20 minutes later when I'm setting up the appointment to draw it. It's like, no, the reason we need a consultation is they are focused on that client at that particular time. They shouldn't be going away from that.
Yeah, I like to, what you need to think of is, okay, if that was you in that chair, and someone else comes up and starts digging in your artist's brain and talking, you're paying for that artist's time, So I generally do not like doing that, because I feel like, well, this person waited months, has gone through, done everything they were supposed to do so they could be there at that time so they could get that tattoo. So they're paying for my time and my focus. Yeah. And like you said, on top of that, I can't completely focus on your idea, and your idea is just as important and deserves as much focus as this person did. Right. And this person did it the right way, and it would be unfair for me to take my mind out of the time they've paid for to try to understand what you're doing. It might sound trivial, but it really is. I mean, if someone's trying to do their very best job and focus on that and do the best they can, it does matter. And absolutely, it makes a difference.
And I don't know who made it, but I'll take credit for it. It's like it was a client that said, basically, I paid this hooker. I want all of their attention.
Right.
You didn't pay this hooker to be here. I did.
Well, and that's another thing when you come in for your first tattoo. You're a little apprehensive. You're a little, uneasy or whatever for whatever reason. It's a new experience for you. I've had some customers come in, and, can you do this dragon? Well, we already had a consult. You've already seen all my portfolio, my work. I've drawn something up for you. You like the drawing. We're getting ready to tattoo. I don't mean to be rude, but this is my first tattoo. I get that, but it's not my first tattoo. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to concentrate on giving you, because in my mind, I'm in the dragon realm and ready to do this badass dragon and fighting this knight and what's going on around it. And with you keep going, the baseball game yesterday, and are you sure you can do this? And are you sure that's going to work out right? And are you sure? Like you're.
Well, I was, but now I'm not.
Now I'm not.
Right.
Now you start to get.
You start to get in our mind, and you start to cause doubt.
It makes me think like, oh, well, maybe I'm not on par. Maybe we're not in the same mental space.
Right.
And
you're
what
thinking
that
you
does
missed something.
is it takes all or most of the fun and the awesomeness that could be out of it, because I'm going to be way more tentative. I'm not going to do anything that might be above and beyond, because I just want to stay in that safe space, because they're already freaking out and doubting that I'm going to do a good job anyway.
Right.
And so I have to think, well, are they going to understand that this shadow here is on the face coming down the cheek is a highlight because of the light source and all that? No, they probably aren't, because they're so bottled up, right, and can't let you take it and make it the best it can be. I think right, the person has to realize that you came in here for a reason, I hope, and right, I hope part of that reason was because you think that we can do a good job and know what we're doing.
Right.
And and being over the top like that just pushes that artist back a little bit from going, oh man, this is going to be great, and we're going to have fun with this, and right, it's going to be awesome. It feels more. It doesn't feel like a partnership. It feels like, make sure you get under the hedges, and I want the grass 2.5 inches, right, okay, and I'm going to have a ruler and come out and measure it 2.5 inches, and you're thinking, well, I usually do it 2 3/4 inches, but now they're wanting that. So what else that I do that
is not going to be right?
Yeah, and it really starts creating all these weird little things. So that's why the consult's very important. References, can be important, and the questions we ask to get that picture out of their head and into ours are important as well.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah.
So back to what Jimmy brought up with repairing, and this a lot of this will relate to piercing too. The mill's a great idea. To consider how much privacy is going to be available to you.
Yep, that's a good one.
And what you're comfortable with. Mm-hmm. And plan out how you're going to remove the clothing to do that in a way that you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I'm sorry, not every tattoo artist is going to have separate rooms for each artist.
No.
There might be a situation where there's an open window. Not open, but where they can see in. So you really have to, consider that beforehand. And if you're a modest person, you're not comfortable with that, talk to your artist about that at the time of the consultation.
Absolutely.
Because then they can make a note, like, this person's really concerned about this, and we can try to get some extra of this or that in. Don't show up 10 minutes before and go, really, I'm going to have it done here?
Yeah,
right.
And that's a really good point about clothing choice and everything else. Because, believe it or not, it's not comfortable for me to have someone uncomfortable.
No,
it's not comfortable, to be there with a, exposed body part and you're, all weird. I don't want you to be weird. You know, I don't want it to be uncomfortable. So, yeah, if you're getting something somewhere where in this outfit, well, you're going to have, you come in a dress and you're getting something, on your lower back. Well, that dress has got to come up or down.
Yeah.
One of the two.
So, think ahead. I just had a gal a couple weeks ago. She came in and was getting something on her arm and shoulder, and she went out and found this top that had like one arm and then the other arm, the
perfect.
Cut down.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I was like, man, that is awesome. Thank you.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
if you're
so
doing a sleeve.
Absolutely. She didn't have to get, she didn't have to get awkward. It didn't have to be a weird thing. She just, boom, she planned for it, and that's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Great. So
think that through before you come in. Like if you want something on your butt cheek, fine.
Yeah.
No problem. But then don't come in and stare at me when I'm like, okay, I need to put your stencil on there. Like, okay, okay, so you want this on your butt cheek, right? Well, yeah. So are you going to undo your pants and pull your butt cheek out? Well, I mean, I got to pull my pants down. Well, do you want me to tattoo your butt? Like,
you just do that through the jeans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have X-ray vision, man. I can't,
I usually tell them I can do it through your clothes, but I'm not going to guarantee the results.
Right.
you know, it might look a little wonky.
And they come in and look at you like, I'm like, well, dude, did you think about this when you thought about getting a tattoo on your butt?
Yeah.
And I don't tattoo so I can get some peeps at, body parts.
No, I've seen way more body parts than I really wanted to.
I've got the internet.
Many that I didn't want to see.
Yeah, I got the internet.
The internet's there if you want to see anything.
Yeah.
I've seen it all.
Other thing is if you were one of those people that's bored easily and fidgets and et cetera and has to move a lot or normally doesn't sit still, you can't always rely on the artist to carry on a conversation with you.
Right.
So I would suggest bringing in some type of activity, whether it's on your phone or whatever, that has the least amount of movement needed, especially if you're working on the upper body.
Well, and if you want to listen to a show on your TV, on your phone, or play a game, bring headphones.
Oh yeah,
please.
because
I don't want to hear beep boop like while I'm tattooing, man. Like I really don't.
Don't be the guy on the bus that's listening to music without headphones.
Yeah.
Right.
Or talking on speakerphone. What is your people's problem?
That? Yeah,
right.
I don't get that.
Walking through the store and like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, tell Barry hi for me too. Like, why do you want me to have this conversation?
See, my mind always goes, is there police here?
What?
Every time I hear somebody.
Oh, because it's like talking on the radio. Or something?
Yes, because I don't
You are
understand why they don't put it up to their face.
And about talking, some people can talk and not use their whole body.
And other people can.
Other people, there's no way they can talk without doing all this stuff. So be conscious of your body movements. Shifting your head real quick to one way, or lifting your arm up to check your watch. You might not think you're moving. Well, I didn't move my shoulder. Yeah, you did. Your whole body shook and shifts, when you're doing that.
Or when I'm tattooing you, don't keep trying to look at it while I'm tattooing you. Sit still. When we're at a point to take a break, you can get up and go look at it in the mirror. Right now, even if you do want to watch what I'm doing, if you can't do it without moving it, don't. And it doesn't matter because you have no idea what I'm doing anyway.
No.
Yeah, one thing to remember is you have the rest of your life to look at it. We've got a couple hours or whatever. Just give us a couple hours to look at it, and then I promise I won't be wanting to look at it.
Yeah, I've often wondered, like you always see in the movies where the famous artist is doing a portrait of whoever that they paid for, and they don't let them see it till it ends.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, is there times where you guys just want to put a curtain?
Yeah.
Sometimes.
More so.
Stick your hand through the magic hole and I'll tattoo it.
Yes, sometimes.
Because in my mind, a lot of times, especially earlier in my career, not so much anymore, but before I was like, it looks weird right now. It's developing. This is going to be this is going to be that. So then you start getting, if they look and they're like, oh, what's going on there? Well, then I've got to stop. I've got to explain it to you. And then in my mind, you're starting that push away process where I hope they like this. I hope they're going to understand the shadow.
Right.
I hope that they're going to get it, so you're going to have, and I have a lot of clients refuse to look until it's done.
Yeah.
They want to see, they want that shock factor. They want that, whoa,
Always have.
But then you've got those other people, maybe even more so now with shows and everything, that kind of want to see the process. And, oh, what size is that needle? And, oh, what are you using now? And, oh, why this and why that? Which is totally fine.
Yeah.
But again, depending on the piece and how compliant you've been, you're taking focus away from the artist, and that's less focus and energy that she can, put into that tattoo.
Well, nowadays, people want to like, oh, okay, the outline's done. Well, I want to get some photos so I can post it online. I want to get some photos, and please don't do that. Not only do you not understand what you're looking at, and because it isn't finished, but 90% of the social media population is definitely not going to understand it. No. The tattoo isn't cleaned up. It's smeary. Yeah. It's in development stage. I don't want that plastered all over with my name on it. Oh, well, look, he can't even finish a tattoo. No, I mean, it's an 8-hour process, and we're an hour and a half into it. Can you give me a few more hours, and then we'll post some stuff about it? Like, just remember stuff like that. If you were cleaning your house, and your house was a disaster after your kid's party, and somebody come in and took pictures of what the house looked like right after the party, and then while you're in stages of cleaning it, do you want them posting that all over the world?
Right. No, I want that when I try to sell the house. I want those.
Exactly. You want just take some of that into consideration. Like you can photograph it and keep up with it for your own personal. It's great, but you don't have to post every picture during the whole process. This was 5 minutes in. This is 20 minutes in. This is nobody really cares, and it's just it doesn't turn out well.
What I've gotten to with piercing is if they want to take a videotape, I generally try to tell them they can't, and if they insist on it, it's like, you can't post that to social media.
Yeah,
I mean, I think as artists, you have the right to go, you know what? I don't want you posting that. If you're going to share with your friends and family,
right?
That's one thing. But don't put it on Instagram. Don't put it on Twitter.
Yeah, wait till we're done, please.
And if you really wanted to watch the process, since every smartphone now has time lapse on it, you can bring in a tripod, set it up over the area that's getting tattooed.
As long as it's not in the way.
Yeah, as long as most artists would probably go, "Hey, you gonna send me a copy?"
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah. Yeah, it's moved very far away from the lick and stick walk-in shops of days prior. A lot of artists now, this is, they want to do and represent themselves the best they can, and so they want to focus and make sure that they're going to do a great job. That doesn't mean there's no bedside manner. It doesn't mean that they can talk and they're, all that stuff. But just, give them a break and, realize that, they might be making it look easy. You might think that, oh, this is no big deal. They just color it in or whatever it is. Humor them for at least that time and understand that this is just as big, if not a bigger deal to them than it is you, and they want to do it perfectly right, or at least they should. And just, give them a break. And, I, as an artist, I realize that this is stressful for you. It's painful. It's boring, and all that stuff. I get it. But there's also my side of it too, or the artist side of it, where they want to do a good job. They want to represent themselves very well. And at the end, if you don't like it, you don't want it to be your fault for moving, talking, screwing around, all that stuff. The cooler you are, and the less you throw them off base or whatever. Well, then you only have the artist to blame. So it takes you out of the loop.
Right.
That and don't get angry with the counter people when you stop by or you call in and go, "It's just a name. Why can't they do it? It's just a name." And it's like, okay, well, that's going to take a half an hour. They're all busy for the next 8.
Yeah. And that's, I think, the disconnect between, some people just have a view of certain things that aren't perfectly representing of it,
Right.
To some people, like I said, some people are just like, it's no big deal. It's just a name. Well, then why would you call me. Just
Why
do it
would
yourself.
You, get it done?
You know?
Well, and you have people also, hey, they'll call, hey, man, do you have any time for like, a walk-in today? Well, we really don't do walk-ins. We're pretty booked up. Well, I mean, it's just a really simple tattoo. Okay, well, what are you thinking of getting? Oh, I want this half sleeve. Well, that's not just a quick, simple tattoo, man. That's like 7-8 hours of tattooing but after the consult.
And you might be able, and I'm sure there's an artist out there that doesn't, who thinks it's no big deal and it's a quick whatever to do.
Push.
Find them.
Right.
I doubt you'll be happy with the results because they don't care about it, and neither do you. So they extra don't care about it. So they'll just slam it on, thinking, well, what do they expect? They just wanted it fast and only thought it would cost $50, And then you get that tattoo and go, what the heck? Well, you told that artist that you don't really care. Yeah. You just want it fast. That's all that matters. And they're going to slam it on you. And then you're going to, more than likely, having a negative, getting a negative idea of what a tattoo shop is, or you're going to be very unhappy and you're going to have to go get it repaired.
And you have to understand the breakdown of communication sometimes too, because however you're perceiving it and however it's perceived by the artist is two different things. For example, 7-8 years ago, I had a guy call one of the shops we was at, and he's like, hey man, I got some outline of this little piece of tribal on my arm. I just need it filled in, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, come in, let me take a look at it.
Simple.
And he gets in, and it's outline of tribal from his knuckles all the way up to his ear, all the way up his arm. There's whole, like a George Clooney, Dust Till Dawn kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's all been outlined. It's been outlined really bad. And he's like, well, it's just a little bit of tribal I want filled in. I'm like, it's like 15 hours of blacking that in, dude. Well, I was thinking, it'd be like a couple $100 maybe. And I'm like, not for 15 hours, dude.
Well, you must have been having that train of thought when you got the outline because it's garbage.
Yeah.
Well, that's what happens because like even with a really nice tattoo, like I can outline fairly fast.
Yeah.
I can outline half sleeve in pretty much an hour and 15 minutes. And they're like, oh man, we are flying through this thing. Okay, well, hold your jets for a minute.
Yeah.
Now we start in the shading and the coloring, which is the actual hard part,
more time
consuming part of the tattoo. And that's where the 7 or 8 hours is going to come in. The outline, I really didn't even, I gave myself like an hour roughly for the outline, and the rest is all that other stuff.
Right.
Oh, well, it's going to take like 9 hours. Well, yeah, it's going to take 9 hours to put little Susie's face here and your dog Buck's portrait here and grandma over here, and they were on the beach at this time with the sun setting with the waves just like this. Yeah, that takes a little more time than just what we just outlined in.
And that has to, in my mind, you can't, like I said, you came here for a reason. You came here either because, or there, wherever you went, because you thought they were going to do a good job. They're professional and they know what they're doing. So you're only questioning yourself when you're questioning the artist. Like, hey, I didn't drag you by your throat and stick you in this chair.
Right.
You decided to come in here, and now
a bad decision.
Yeah, and now you're doubting your decision that I'm going to do something that you hired me to do for you. So have all that stuff figured out first. If you do have questions, you want to talk to an artist, well, that's the consult. Come in, feel them out, ask any question you can think that you'd want to know from that artist, and they'll ask you too. And then after that, if you decide to go somewhere else, no problem. That's what a consult's for.
Right. You're not locked into anything.
I'm not everyone's artist. I'm not going to do what everybody wants, or just might not click. That's not your fault. That's just the nature of the world. Some people are going to have a different idea or need things done in a way that I'm not comfortable with, where I don't feel I'm going to be able to do my best, or it's not going to represent what I do. And that's not your fault, because I don't expect everyone, luckily, thank God, there are enough people to where I can do what I like and be satisfied with it and satisfy them and keep on rocking. But that's what the consult's for. I don't expect everyone that comes in and sits down with me to discuss an idea to schedule.
No.
At all. And so don't feel like, just because you come in to get a consult to talk to an artist, you should have a good idea and are wanting this tattoo. But, if you ask the questions and they're not satisfactory at the end, okay, well, that relationship in that regard didn't work this time. There's other people probably in that shop or in your neighborhood or in your city that might.
Right.
And, just be honest with yourself. Don't say, oh, it's just a little tattoo and it's something from your wrist to your shoulder. Just you saying that and arguing that it is doesn't change the fact that it's not. Oh, I just want a little thing. What? Oh, this gigantic thing. How much will that be? Well, that could take this long. What? We're here for a reason. We're still here for a reason. We try to do our best, and we're not trying to lie to you or scam you or try to, say something that's untrue to somehow come out better in the situation.
Right.
The more you understand me and the more I understand you, the better the end result's going to be, whether that's even you getting a tattoo from me or not.
Right.
And I think the thing most people, it's like, oh, I got to go in for a consultation. Like people get kind of this person's going to waste my time because it's so simple.
Right.
The reality of the situation, the reason why you guys do consultations, the reasons why I personally go through a consultation every time I pierce somebody is because we're trying to save time.
Yeah.
We're trying to save your time and we're trying to save our time because I know you guys don't want to draw up something and then have the guy change his mind 4 or 5 times or never show up. For the same reason, I don't want to do a piercing and have the person call me the next day and say, oh, I went to work and they said they didn't like it, so now I got to take it out because know, they didn't pierce with the proper jewelry that could be hidden.
Right.
So yeah, it's a reason we do this. It's to try to save time.
And if you're rammy jammy, it's just simple. No matter what you say, blah blah blah. Then we're probably not, or I'm probably not the guy because it's probably a bigger deal to me than it is you then.
Yeah.
And so again, I'm probably not the dude to do that because to me, I want to. Really know what you want the final results to be. And I want to know that I'm the guy to do it and I can do it the way you want it. And if you want it quick, if you want me to just slam it on there, I don't do it. I just don't do that. And that's not right or wrong. It's just that's how I work. And that's what makes me happy in doing what I do. And I only do it because it makes me happy. So, I guess I'm only going to do a tattoo that I feel comfortable with, and I feel that, you want it to be good, not just fast or cheap or just there.
Well, I mean, do you often wonder, like, when the person comes in and they're doing this, like, they're just downplaying it, maybe they just really do want that simple, nasty-looking crappy tattoo?
And there's always a shop that's going to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It's not us. It's not me.
Yeah.
But, tattooing is different for different people. It means different things. Some people, it's the most incredible, important, meaningful thing in the world. The other people, well, this rapper has one. I want one that looks like that. Well, and,
And these days, the more simple and minimal the tattoo is, the actual more difficult becomes in it. Like, okay, I just want one line around my arm. But I'm going to pick if that line has a little bit of thickness more here than it does there, and that looks like it could have been a little bump or this. I don't. Yeah. You're starting to get so technical. Like I had a guy come in one time. He's like, I really like this design. It's just an outline of something, but I don't want the lines to be as thick as that. And I'm like, well, the needle is that wide. I can't make the line any narrower than the equipment that I have to do the job is. Like that's and he made a huge deal out of it. And like by the time it was about 15 minutes, and he was just like, is there any way? I get what you're saying, but is there any way we can make it thinner? Is there any way? I was like, man, I mean, I really want to get you what's happy, but at this point, I'm not going to do the tattoo for you because I don't feel like I can comfortably give you what you want.
Yeah,
and I don't want you walking around with something you're unhappy with, and you're obviously not going to accept the fact that this is what I can do, and you're not going to accept that, so it's never going to make you happy. So I'm going to try to avoid that situation by, excusing myself from it.
Right.
Yeah. And then sometimes, people will get super, I can't believe he doesn't want to tattoo me. It's not that I don't want to tattoo you.
Yeah.
It's I want to make sure you get exactly what you want, and what you're telling me is I'm not capable of achieving what you want. So why would we go any further?
Me being happy after tattoo isn't, I got money for it.
No, not at all.
It's at the end, you're happy with it, and I'm happy because I know that I gave you what you want.
Right.
And then, hey, I get money. That's
my client's happiness is my first reward.
Oh, totally.
And my most important reward.
Right.
If my client is not stoked or super happy or thrilled with what they've gotten, I'm pretty devastated.
Yeah, that's a fail.
I failed you. Yeah. And that's a very hard thing for me. And I don't care how much money you give me for it.
Right. And that comes back to picking the right artist or the studio, knowing what you want, realizing that the artist wants to do the best they can and is only going to suggest things or shoot things down or whatever to do the best they can do on that design. If that's not satisfactory, dude, there's other tattooers. It's not personal. You know, we don't know you from Adam. You are someone who wants the product that we provide, and we want to do it the best possible. But if you want a six-wheeled all-terrain vehicles and we sell Corvettes, and you're pissed that we can't sell you an all-terrain vehicle, it's not personal. Yeah. You know, it's just that's not
You're in the wrong
how
place.
It's done.
Right.
And realize that, you know, just because it says tattoo over the door of the place doesn't mean that they'll just do anything any way that you want it to be done. So they're going to do the best they can with what they're comfortable with, and if that doesn't match what you're wanting, you know,
then you have another consult with another artist to find the one that you're.
I guess I could go through what you should expect at a piercing thing.
I think you should
close it down. Basically, piercing is a little bit different than tattooing because the tattooing process takes a lot. It seems like it always takes longer to tattoo somebody than it takes longer to heal, but the heal period is shorter. With piercings, it's the fastest experience you're going to have, but it takes much longer to heal. So we tend to focus a lot on educating the client as much as we can on how to properly take care of it. So when you come in for a piercing, the first thing you should get is a consultation on how on things that are going to change, possibly diet, your daily routine, clothing, activities, etc., and how to keep that piercing from becoming infected. They may talk to you about your profession to see if it's going to affect that. The other thing is, and this is the time to ask questions you may have, like, can I take it out for football? No, you can't. Then you'll go through a process of us, making sure that you're not allergic to anything that we're using, you don't have any medical problems, or on any medication, controlled or uncontrolled substance that may cause problems. And then we'll actually go through the process. Usually most piercing places have a level of privacy because they're used to, like, every day they're going to do a piercing in an area that they don't want the general public to be standing there watching. However, there are some shops where it's right smack dab in the middle of everything. So, like I said earlier about tattooing, you really need to consider how much privacy you're going to get and what you're going to be comfortable with.
Right.
And that should be something that you can go visit the shop now that COVID's slowly going away. You could at least do a consultation or schedule a consultation and ask to see the piercing area. After that, after you get done, I would, wear comfortable clothing, eat before you come in, bring somebody along for moral support if you need them. It's not a bad idea to talk to the piercer in advance to find out whether or not they sell aftercare product or if it's something you're going to have to go out and buy. And maybe buy that in advance. Certain piercings require things like genital piercings. It's best to wear a sanitary napkin or pad for the first couple weeks or week, basically. So if you're getting a genital piercing, it might be a good idea to buy that stuff ahead of time so you can have it right there when you get pierced. There's a lot of things you can do, and the biggest thing is just it's not going to be as terrible as you possibly think it's going to be. It's usually very quick, and I like to take things at my client's pace, which means that if you're feeling a little lightheaded or you're feeling nauseous or what have you, or you just need a few minutes to recover, I'm going to be happy to let you do that. I'm also going to give you as much information as I can on how to properly heal the piercing because I'm inherently lazy and I hate dealing with problems.
Yeah, do it right the first time.
We want you to have the best experience possible.
Yeah. So I think that pretty much sums all of it up.
Well, I think
it does. Be 18, have an ID with you, as far as what to expect if you're coming in for your appointment.
Right.
It's state law that you have to be 18 or older. There is no parental consent for tattooing.
In the state of Iowa.
Nope.
Right. Yeah, in the state of Iowa. There are other places that, have different rules. But here in Iowa, it doesn't matter how bad your mom and dad is okay with it. Legally, we cannot do it, and we will not do it. You'll sign a waiver, a consent form, basically telling you, what the risks are and all that. You sign that off, and you're pretty much off to the races from there.
I think one of the last important things to bring, besides yourself and a good full stomach and rested up, is a good attitude.
Absolutely. Yeah, we love what we do. We love having fun. We understand, there's nerves. The worst thing about a piercing or a tattooing is the 5 minutes right before it happens.
Absolutely.
Yep. That's when it starts, this big crescendo starts coming. You get anxiety. It's like, oh my God, here it comes. And if I've had 1,000 people not not sure what it was going to feel like, I'd say 998 of them go, oh, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Exactly.
That's why the first 5 minutes, the 5 minutes right before it happens is always seems to be the worst.
Now, back to the photo ID. If I remember right, you guys require it on everybody that comes in, regardless of age, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Even
so
if
it doesn't matter if you're 65
if you're 80
or 30.
and you want to get tattooed, you have to have your ID.
So always bring your photo ID. You shouldn't probably leave the house anymore without it anyway. Mm-hmm. Other thing is check in advance to see what cash or what their payment structure is, whether or not they take cash, cards, etc. It's I think we've all been in this situation where you get to the end of it and they're like, and they have a form of payment that you don't take.
Yeah.
And then you're kind of in this weird situation where it's like, I know you, I think you're going to pay me, but I know you got to leave the building to do that. Well, so it's always a good idea to find out, do they have an ATM in the lobby? If you have to pay in cash, do they take credit cards or any type of other form of payment?
Well, our studio is pretty good about that. We accept almost all forms of payment, and we do have an ATM in the lobby available for you if you need that.
And our waivers now, they can do it at home. Like we can send them. Yep. Yeah. So like our shop, if you want to see what you'll be signing before you come in and sign it before you've gotten all that far, let us know. We can email you a link to our release form. You can read through it. If you have any questions even beforehand, you can give us a call and, have all that out of the way.
Yeah,
no surprises.
And most studios will have at least some basic information about aftercare around there.
Absolutely.
Some other stuff. But I think we've done a pretty thorough job on this one. You should know absolutely everything you ever needed to know and then more.
And if you don't, write it in the comments. Let us know.
Yeah. Leave a comment. I'll be happy to answer the question. Well, first off, thank you for watching or listening. If you enjoyed this in any way, shape, or form, please give us a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit that notification bell so that you're notified every time we post something. Also, check out our merch store. Plenty of different designs and stuff on there. We have some ideas coming up. Hopefully, they'll be up in the near future. But till next time, here's hoping all your tattoos and piercings heal with ease and without a single issue. And if you're in the Des Moines, Iowa area, we all hope to see you for your body piercing and tattooing needs in the future. Have a good day, everybody. Take care.
Thank you, guys. Be good to each other.